Did something truly fall from the sky in the summer of 1947? If the truth of that night in the deserts of New Mexico had been revealed, how different would our world look today? And why, after more than 70 years, does no one still know what really happened in Roswell? Let's go back to where it all began. It was the hot summer of 1947, and America was still shaking off the dust of World War II. Airplanes were becoming more advanced, radar systems were new, and people were just starting to hear words like UFO. At that time, a simple rancher named Mac Brazel, near the small town of Roswell, New Mexico, stumbled upon something strange. Shiny metallic debris scattered across the desert. It didn't look like an airplane, or a weather balloon, or anything familiar. He collected some pieces and reported it to the nearby military base, the Roswell Army Airfield. On July 8, 1947, the local newspaper printed a headline in bold: "Army captures flying saucer in Roswell." But just 24 hours later, the same army released another statement. It wasn't a saucer, it was just a weather balloon. And that sudden reversal planted the seed of one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. From that moment, people began to ask, if it was just a balloon, why did the Army say flying saucer first? Why was the wreckage rushed to Fort Worth military base? And why did local witnesses claim they saw bodies that were not human? Unofficial reports said several townspeople saw small figures with large heads and black eyes. Military witnesses later said those bodies were sealed inside metal containers and moved to a research base in Ohio. Some retired officers claimed that the US government had recovered not only the craft, but the beings inside it. Yet no official proof was ever released. But let's look at the context of the time. In 1947, the Cold War had just begun. The fear of Soviet spies and nuclear tests made the US classify almost everything. In that atmosphere, any unknown object could be considered a threat. So it made sense for the Army to control the story. But control didn't calm the public. It fueled their curiosity. By the end of that same year, more than 850 UFO sightings had been reported across the United States. In the decades that followed, the Roswell incident became the ultimate symbol of alien mysteries. Books, films, and TV shows kept the story alive. In 1980, a book titled The Roswell Incident reignited the fire. For the first time, it talked about alien bodies and secret government operations. From that point on, conspiracy theories exploded. Some said the government hid the truth to reverse engineer alien technology for advanced weapons. Others claimed that technology later led to the sudden boom in electronics during the 1950s, the rise of transistors and microchips. Some even suggested that computers and fiber optics were inspired by that recovered craft. Here's a curious fact. Between 1950 and 1965, US electronic technology advanced 3 times faster than the previous decade, right when Roswell fever was at its peak. But was that just coincidence? In 1994, the US Air Force published a report titled Roswell, Case Closed. It stated that the wreckage was part of a secret program called Project Mogul, designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests using high-altitude balloons. According to the government, those shiny fragments were just sensors and radar reflectors, i.e. not pieces of a spaceship. But many people weren't convinced, because the photos, the witness stories, and the inconsistent statements all told another tale. For example, one retired Air Force officer said in a 1997 interview, "What I saw wasn't a balloon. It was a light metallic material that bent easily and instantly returned to shape." That description matched no known material from that era. Scientists argue that in the heat of the New Mexico desert, certain aluminum alloys could behave that way. But could a simple rancher really mistake such material for something out of this world? That's when the story took another turn. In the 1990s, so-called alien autopsy videos surfaced on TV and the internet. Most were later proven fake, but their impact was huge. By the end of the century, Roswell had become a cultural icon of cosmic mystery. Today, the small town of Roswell attracts over 2 million tourists each year. Its entire economy now revolves around UFO legends. Every year, the UFO Festival fills the streets, and the International UFO Museum draws over 100,000 visitors. A mystery that may have lasted only a few hours created a legacy lasting decades. But Roswell's true importance isn't just economic or entertaining. It forever blurred the line between science and imagination. For the first time, humanity collectively wondered, are we alone in the universe? In various surveys, around 65% of Americans believe the government is hiding information about extraterrestrials. That means most people, in some way, still side with the Roswell story. But maybe the truth matters less than the impact it left on our minds. Because ever since that summer night, every strange light in the sky reminds us of Roswell. Yet the story isn't really about aliens, but it's about us. About our fears, our hopes, and our endless need to know what's beyond. Roswell stands at the border between doubt and belief, between science and myth. And with every passing year, that border grows thinner. Today, NASA sends probes to Mars and beyond. Telescopes discover thousands of habitable worlds, and even the Pentagon admits to studying unidentified aerial phenomena. And still, no one can say for sure what fell in that desert in 1947. Maybe it really was just a balloon. Or maybe it was something that awakened the human imagination forever. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. So here's the big question. If one day we discover that the Roswell craft truly came from another world, will we be ready to face that truth? Or, just like in 1947, will we still choose to call it a weather balloon?